y'all doing, folks? Welcome to this edition of the Outdoors Bound podcast. I'm George Noleff. Thanks for being with us. If you could deal with the weather, the past week's been stellar for fishing in local waters. Here's a thumbnail fishing report. Smith Mountain Lake's been good for largemouth, smallmouth, and stripers. Crappies have been good too, especially around brush. The smallmouth action's been good over on the New. There were also a number of good walleye picked up there in the past week. That was just north of Allisonia. We are getting reports of big smallmouth on the James. The stretch from the head of the James down to Eagle Rock has been productive, as has the Balcony Falls area. There are reports of big smallies coming out of Moomaw, too. Also here, the brown trout are being caught up in the water column by people trolling spoons and stick baits. Just downstream of Moomaw, the brown trout have turned on the Upper Jackson. Stick baits and inline spinners going to work there, as will woolies if you want to swing flies. We're hearing the Dan River striper run still going on. Those fish push up from Bugs Island. The Stanton gets a run of Bugs Island stripers too, but we're also getting reports of good catches of spotted bass, smallmouth bass, and walleyes on the Stanton. Turkey season opened this past weekend here in Virginia too. No reports of harvest numbers yet. If you got out there and missed, it may mean it's time to pattern your gun. Before you ever fire your gun at a turkey, you need to fire it at a target.
I mean, that's just a matter of just an inch or two.
Randy Frango is a highly successful turkey hunter and an administrator with Gobbler Talk, Virginia. He says you want to pattern your gun to find out how your shells are working with your choke tube. A tighter shot pattern is better to ensure clean headshots and ethical kills.
You go out, look here, on opening day, and I was shooting out of a rest, and you see turkey's head? We might have grazed the back of his neck, or the back of his head, and maybe got one or two in the neck. Might have killed him, but might not have. But we could have lost the turkey or wounded one.
If you have multiple brands of shells or types of loads, you'll know which ones work best with your gun. If you only have one type, you'll know which aim or sight adjustments you're going to need to make, and that's going to up your odds once gobbler season opens. Thanks to Randy Frango for his help with that story. Turkeys are a Virginia springtime tradition, and so are the various fish runs on the Chesapeake Bay and Atlantic tributaries. Perhaps the best known of those is the James River. It has played a huge role in Virginia's rich outdoors heritage.
Hunkering down, first fish of the morning.
You could argue that the James is the river that has defined Virginia through history. And springtime on the James means you can see that history play out through fishing.
Rockfish, little striper.
There are striped bass and hickory shad running everywhere, right in the shadow of the downtown Richmond skyline.
Another hickory shad.
Alex McRickard of the Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources fishes it quite a bit. He loves fishing the shad runs, something the people, colonists, and Native Americans before them have been doing for more than 1,000 years.
Yeah, they're fun little spirited fish. Great seasonal visitors for our tidal rivers this time of the year.
Oh, he's bending your rod tip over.
Hickory shad are a success story. Their numbers were once in decline, but now they're back.
Yeah, the hickory shad numbers are looking good again this year in terms of what we would expect to see.
But there is a shad species that has not come back. We're talking about the American shad. Alan Weaver is a biologist for the VDWR.
The James River is probably seen the most decline in the American shad recently. The Rappahannock is doing better.
That American shad situation on the James is more of a mystery than anything else.
We're trying to figure out why the numbers are still staying down and go from there. They're not gone. It's just everyone's still kind of scratching their heads trying to figure out what to do next for American shad as far as the James River goes, and just keeping an eye on the other rivers.
I don't want to go get up in those boats.
So, while wildlife managers try to solve that James River American shad mystery, the hickory shad, striped bass, and blue catfish success on the James is still something to celebrate.
They'll swim off when they're ready.
Shad, both hickory and American, are known as the fish that fed America. Colonists depended on them, and so did Native Americans before them. In fact, Shad and striped bass were food staples for Native Americans for more than 1,000 years. Now, speaking of good eating, this is also the time of year flounder move in close here in Virginia. So if you're thinking of making a road trip to target flatfish, now is the time to do it. Another saltwater game fish that's good on the table is black drum. Jimmy Vassalou of Captain Steve's in Chincoteague tells us April is prime time to catch them in the surf here in Virginia.
But right now we're catching black drum, and it's also another unique situation where we catch some of the first black drum of the year, even before Virginia Beach and North Carolina, which is warmer waters, but I guess with their migratory pattern, they usually come to the Chincoteague Barrier Islands, which we're part of, Assateague, Virginia.
If I was going to fish for black drum right now, what should I be doing?
We usually, we have some high-low rigs. There's circle hook rigs, they're double hook rigs, Captain Steve's 7/0 circle hook rigs. Use clam, crab, and sand fleas, and we generally tip them with fish bites. Clam, crab, or sand fleas favor. They eat more crustaceans. Every once in a while they eat a fish too, so don't be afraid to use different baits. But change your baits every 15-20 minutes and vary your cast too, because a lot of people keep the same bait out there for hours and you're not going to catch too much. You might get lucky and catch something, but your bait's probably going to be gone by then. So just keep on changing your baits, and sunrise, sunset's always good, but whenever you can go fishing is the best time to go fishing.
Man, Jimmy's got that right. Anytime's the best time to go fishing. Now, I'm hearing reports of big drum being taken from the surf from Chincoteague south all the way to Sandbridge. Now, speaking of the surf, there is nothing like the sound of those waves to put you at ease. For this week's 30 Seconds of Solitude, we take you to the beach near the Assateague Island Hook. Little magic there. Hope we made a little splash in your week. Until next time, I'm George Noleff, WFXR News, Outdoors Bound. Tight lines and good hunting, y'all.
You build the mountains in your dreams. You lead the world so you can breathe. Whoa. You walk on fields inside your mind. You cross the oceans and the skies. Whoa. It's like you found a better way. Don't fight them all on what they say. Just turn around and walk away. But if you leave again, just take me there with you. But if you leave again, just take me there.